The following is a presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Welcome to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report from Van Wagner on the Liberty Flames Sports Network. The Flames Clubhouse Report is brought to you by Fakes Jewelers. Since 1930, trusted for generations. Stay tuned for the latest views on Liberty Flames baseball, a look around the ASUN Conference, and we'll catch up with Flames head coach Scott Jackson. Now, here's the voice of Flames baseball, Nick Pierce.
Hello once again, folks. Welcome to another edition of the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report. This is a championship edition as we come to you from Jacksonville, Florida, right here on the riverfront. And we are excited for 3 days of championship baseball, hopefully 3 days, as the Flames look to make that run through the ASUN tournament, much like they did in 2019, and bring home a second straight conference crown. Coming up on this week's show, we'll visit with the head coach of the Flames, Scott Jackson. We'll get his thoughts after Wednesday's practice session on the field. The Flames spent about an hour and 15 minutes practicing in the heat of the day on Wednesday, which is a good thing because Liberty will be playing in that same heat on Thursday, an 11 a.m. start time in their first game against the Jacksonville Dolphins. The Flames come in at 37-12. And Liberty is fresh off a series sweep last weekend in the ASUN quarterfinal division series, 2-0 over the Bellarmine Knights, as the Flames took that series to advance here. Jacksonville, however, upset Florida Gulf Coast. The Eagles were the number one seed in the South Division, and Jacksonville won 2 of 3 in that series to pull the upset and advance here to the Final Four in Jacksonville. So kudos to the Dolphins. It's been a tough season for them, but they've started to kind of get things together here in the month of May. But the Flames come in ultra confident after finishing up the home portion of their schedule 24-2. Flames have played pretty well on the road also, 13-10 away from their home ballpark. Anything above 500 typically is a good thing. And obviously this will be a neutral field meeting on Thursday. When you look at what's on the line here this week, certainly a conference championship and a chance for the Flames to go back-to-back. That's something they've not done before at the Division I level. But if you look at some of the national publications, some of the projections for regionals, the Flames are probably already in a good place going into the NCAA tournament next week. You don't ever want to think that and assume things because you don't want to live that way, you don't want to play that way, and I don't think this Flames team is thinking that way in terms of this week not mattering. It certainly does, but it is a nice safety net, I guess, to have if things should go sideways. But still, that's something that we're going to talk about with this team here, and that's something that I know Coach Jackson, look, I mean, this is a veteran group of guys. They've been able to kind of put their heads down and go to work and really just kind of tune out any other noise and just come to the ballpark with an attitude that they're going to step on the field and win the baseball game, and that's what they're going to need to be successful down here this week. And let's face it, it's a lot more fun to go into an NCAA regional on a winning streak than it is to maybe not be playing your best baseball after a conference tournament. So I think that could go a long ways and certainly go a long ways in solidifying, cementing what this season has meant with all the accomplishments that the Flames have had. One thing that I'm noticing, though, and the guys would never talk about this. The players wouldn't. The coaches wouldn't really talk about it either. But just looking at the rankings, I'm not sure how this team's not in the top 25 yet. When you look at the non-conference strength of schedule, it's in the top 10 to 15 in the country. I think 12 is what Warren Nolan had it. RPI, 26th, according to the NCAA website. Top 100 wins, I think 14-10 against the top 100 this year. They've dominated everyone outside the top 100. ASUN regular season champions dominated the league. I mean, I don't know. 5 wins against the ACC. I don't know what I'm missing. Not that national rankings and top 25 and all that stuff is all of that, but I'm not sure where, if some of these other teams that are in there, I'm not sure sometimes what the pollsters are looking at. But this is a team that I would certainly put in the top 25 at this point, just based on the full body of work of what they've accomplished this season. But be that as it may, a chance to prove it one more time coming up here this weekend as the Flames get set to play for a conference championship. Hey, coming up on this week's show, we mentioned that Coach Jackson's going to join us a little bit later on. Also, Matt Warner from Flames Central and the Liberty Flames Sports Network. He's called a lot of the games here this year. We're going to chat a little bit about some postseason projections, kind of look at what the national media is saying, and kind of dive in and see what the postseason could look like for the Flames after this week, and also talk a little bit about this conference tournament coming up here. So that'll be a fun conversation. Hope you'll join us for that as well. Also, after Wednesday's practice, I had a chance to catch up with a couple of Flames players. Senior Cam Locklear, his career is winding down. He came back for the 5th year, and he is approaching the school record of most games played in a Liberty Flames uniform. He's at 238 right now. That's one game behind Dalton Britt. Ironically enough, the former Flames shortstop and the last man to play shortstop for Liberty before Cam Locklear came here. Had a chance to catch up with Cam after Wednesday's practice and get his thoughts coming in to the conference tournament. All right, Cam, this is a big week, obviously. What was the first workout like here?
Oh, it was awesome. To come out here in this Florida heat and get moving around and get the sweat going, the juices flowing a little bit. It felt really good. And though we had a really good practice today, everybody was locked in and it was very sharp. And just looking forward to the week.
How's the surface play here?
The surface is very nice. Yeah, I actually really like it. Ball stays down. I think the Flames are going to continue to field the ball well and play great defense, and that's what we're looking forward to.
How confident is this team defensively?
Oh, we know that's one of our strong suits, pitching and defense. It's what Coach Jackson preaches. We just, come out here on practice days like today and just lock in and really focus on the surface and how it plays and kind of adapt to it and try to, be ready for the weekend.
What's the sense of urgency with this team coming into this week, with likelihood being you are in a regional but still wanting to win a championship? What is the urgency level this week?
Yeah, we don't look forward. Coach tells us to keep our head down. He's going to tell us when to look up, and it's kind of a funny thing for us. But I think we just take one pitch at a time, and that's something that this team has always done, as opposed to teams in the past. But I think we just got a really good team that locks in on that very next pitch, that very next out, and so we're focused on pitch one tomorrow.
Tomorrow you you tie the record for most games played in a Liberty uniform. To have stayed healthy as much as you have and to be in the lineup basically every day, is that something you take a lot of pride in?
Yes, I do. I've just put in a lot of hard work and try to take care of my body as best as I can and hydrate and do all the things that I need to do. But yes, I'm dedicated to this game and I love being a Flame. And there's nothing else that I want to do to come down here this week and get a conference championship.
Is it cool to think that you're going to be part of the record books in a way like that?
Yeah, it's definitely cool. I'll be excited to see my name there.
Once again, that's Flames shortstop Cam Locklear. Good conversation with him after Wednesday's practice. Also had a chance to visit with Liberty All-Conference outfielder Aaron Anderson. What a season he has had for the Flames. He's really solidified that 2 spot in the batting order. Leads the team in hitting at .371 coming into this conference tournament. Among the national leaders in doubles, leads the conference with 20 doubles on the season, 27 extra base hits. Just had a monster season here in his first year with the Flames. Had a chance to catch up with Aaron, who's playing in his hometown this week of Jacksonville, Florida. And funny thing is, his dad actually played at the University of North Florida as well for former head coach Dusty Rhodes. We'll get into some of that here as we go back to that conversation I had with Aaron after Wednesday's practice. All right, Aaron, back here in your hometown, how does it feel to be back out here in this Florida heat?
I'm excited. You're right on the money with the Florida heat. It's warm today, and it's going to be warm all week, but it's nice to be home. I'm excited to be here, and it's going to be a lot of fun this weekend.
There's some fields around here that you've played on before that bring back memories. Does it feel a little nostalgic playing down here?
Yeah, it does. The last time I was on this field, I think I was going to the Dusty Rhodes baseball camps back in the day. I was probably like 8 or 9. So, it's cool to be back here. It's coming full circle as a college player being here. It's neat.
Yeah, your dad played on this field, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, he was on the first 4 teams here. So to kind of be where he stood and to be where he had a tremendous career here and got to have a lot of wins and play a lot of games. So it's neat. And this is where we want to be. We talked about it at the end of last week. We had to get past Bellarmine, we had to get to Jacksonville, and now we're here. So, it's all business from here on out.
What's the urgency level here this week of wanting to win a championship and related to postseason and the way things are looking right now with you guys? Looks like you're probably in good shape next week, but, not wanting to take that for granted.
Yeah, you don't want to take anything for granted. You just want to, every day you show up to the ballpark, you want to win. It doesn't matter whether it's a game in February when it's 20 degrees in Lynchburg or if it's 95 here and it's the conference tournament. And, we're tuning out all the noise. We just got to be where our feet are, and we got to win, tomorrow, win the next day, and hopefully win the next day.
How well are you seeing the ball right now?
I'm seeing it pretty well. Just I found some holes last week. That's the biggest thing. Baseball can flip on you really fast, so just going to keep going up there, trying to take good at-bats, trying to take competitive at-bats, and, just 1 through 9. Guys find a way to beat you, and I'm excited. I'm excited what our offense can do this week.
Once again, that's Flames all-conference left fielder Aaron Anderson with us on this week's Clubhouse Report. Stick around. When we come back, we will continue on. Matt Warner will join us for our postseason conversation coming your way next. You're listening to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report, presented by Fink's Jewelers from Van Wagner on the Liberty Flames Sports Network.
The countdown to kickoff is on.
Willis again to throw. End zone. Caught!
Liberty Flames football is ready to rise in 2021. Rise with us. This fall, see your back-to-back Cure Bowl champion Liberty Flames take on Army, Old Dominion, and Louisiana Lafayette at Williams Stadium. Season tickets for all 6 home games start at just $70, a savings of 51% on single game price. Get your tickets now at lufootball.com. Now, back to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report, presented by Fink's Jewelers.
Welcome back to the show this week. Nick Pierce back here with you, and visiting now as well with Matt Warner from Flames Central and the ESPN Plus broadcast at the Liberty Flames Sports Network. Matt, good to have you. I know you're on assignment in Georgia at the time of taping this. You're not too far from Jacksonville if you want to come on down.
Man, I would love to. I like that, we're covering just like multiple states. We're really pulling out all the stops for the postseason. So I feel quite honored that you waited to have me on until the games that really matter the most.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were planning.
Right.
No, these are big ones coming up here. It's championship tournament week. It's always a fun time. You were part of the broadcast team last week on the television side for the Bellarmine series, and we saw a Flames team come in there that we thought they might get challenged a little bit by Bellarmine, and certainly they were scrappy, but it never really felt like that series was in doubt, did it?
No, but yeah, I think you're right in saying that you kind of at least want to be challenged a little bit. You didn't want to just kind of sleepwalk your way through that. And they were. You think about the first game there, 5-2 ball game. It never felt like Liberty was going to lose, but there in the late stages, Bellarmine made it interesting, which is kind of what they had shown that they could do throughout the year. And then the second game was just bizarre in that it felt, it was so tight throughout most of the ball game and through the middle innings. And then the wheels just came off for the night. So all in all, I think Scott Jackson has to be pretty pleased that he felt like his team got pushed enough. But in the end, they were the better team, and they showed it by a pretty substantial margin.
Yeah, and really you saw the better teams or the higher-ranked teams, for the most part, kind of show that this past weekend. Yeah. With the exception of Florida Gulf Coast. And Jacksonville put 17 on the board on Sunday, kind of a anomaly there. But I think that all that to say, I like this format. I like the idea of 2 weekends to decide it. I like rewarding the high seeds with home games in postseason for the regular season because you've already got so many teams there. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I don't know that they're going to stay with it beyond the pandemic days, but it's something that I've actually enjoyed this year.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I kind of like. And Larry Owens from Bellarmine had said, he would have liked it kind of flip-flop the other way, where it's like a regional, super regional type format where then the top 2 teams meet in a 3-game series. And I think that would have been kind of cool as well. But no, I enjoy this too. You get the top 4 teams down there. And the interesting part is it kind of has that feeling. Remember back before interleague play when teams would meet in the World Series and they hadn't seen each other in years, maybe, You have a little bit of that unknown vibe going into this just because you may have read some things, you've seen the stats and all, but you haven't actually seen the 2 teams from the other division. And I don't know if that benefits one team or the other or a style of play over another. I think in Liberty's case, with really good starting pitching, it may benefit you in some ways, just that they haven't seen a Trevor DeLate before or somebody like that. But it's going to be interesting just to see teams that you haven't seen all season long.
Yeah, and that's a great point as we're visiting here with Matt Warner from Flame Central. And, with when you haven't seen somebody, it typically is the pitchers that seem to have the leg up. Flames have a tough matchup themselves looking at Tyler Santana, fastball slider combo they'll have to deal with in game one. But, looking at the postseason and the broad spectrum of things here, coaches and players don't like to talk about this stuff as much, but we as broadcasters do, looking ahead into what lies ahead next week. So the Flames are probably in pretty good shape here. You figure you don't want to knock on wood or whatever cliche you want to throw out there, but looking at some of the projections, I think it's been interesting. They've been pretty consistent really until this week. I saw on D1Baseball.com they had a projection this week that the Flames could be headed out to Austin, Texas to play out there with UT in that regional. That's the first one I've seen where it's not been a neighboring state. And it feels like the committee is going to want to try to keep teams as close to home as they can this year. But, it seems like there's always someone that gets left out of there.
Yeah, and the good thing is I don't know that these guys care where they play. You know what I mean? Like I think this group, and especially some of the guys that we talk about, some of the key transfers that are here, like they're just so thrilled to be on a winning ball club with a chance to play in the postseason and to have that opportunity. Like I don't like Jake Wilson. You could tell him go back and play this one in Canada. He'll do it. You know what I mean? Like those guys just don't. I don't think it matters to them. And I think there's a confidence level with this group because of how well they played all year that they're like, okay, send us as far away as you want. We'll be ready for it, and we'll fight out there. And for selfishly, I kind of hope it's a little bit closer to home, so maybe more of Flames Nation gets to go and support this team. But in their minds, I don't know that it matters a whole lot.
Yeah, they're not doing baseball in Canada right now, but Dunedin is just down the road. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, close enough.
No, so I saw that one, and then Nashville has been the last couple of weeks in Baseball America. That one kind of scares me a little bit, because you may not see Vanderbilt in that first game, which the Flames wouldn't. Actually, I just saw this. They're projected as a 2 seed by Baseball America to play Pitt as a 3 seed if that played out. But you might miss Kumar Rocker on day 1, but you're getting Jack Leiter on day 2. That may not be the best scenario.
You're right, and you don't want to run into either of those two potential, top of the first round draft picks. But could you imagine the chance on that stage? Because we know just what Vanderbilt has shown throughout the year. Like everyone talks about them. You see all their highlights. When you're scrolling through Twitter, every time one of those two guys is pitching, you're seeing their highlights. So you're right. You typically wouldn't want to face one of them, but you're also putting yourself on a pretty huge stage in this program on a pretty huge stage. And that could be a fun opportunity to make some waves nationally.
And Nashville is a cool town at that. There is that side of it. But yeah, I think you tend to lean probably something more like a Knoxville, Charlotte, Greenville, somewhere like that is probably where you're looking. Now, obviously, we don't know the top 16 yet. We just know the 20 potential host sites that have been released. But some of these projections seem pretty convinced. Charlotte may get one in Gastonia, which is supposed to have a really nice ballpark down there near Charlotte. So it'll be interesting to see how that stuff plays out. Something else I wanted to hit on here, too, and I did in the first segment. Are you surprised that this team's not ranked yet in one of the top 25 polls?
Yeah, but I always kind of go back to as well, like the ASUN just doesn't get a lot, of recognition nationally. It just doesn't. And so I feel like no matter what Liberty does within conference, they're always going to kind of be knocked a little bit just because of the ASUN and some of the teams specifically in Liberty's division. Obviously not Kennesaw, but the other three that really weren't very strong this year. But yeah, I mean, even in the past few weeks, you kind of look each week, it comes out like, man, how close are we? Could we sneak in? Yeah, I guess a little bit surprised. I certainly think they're deserving, and they've done all they need to based off the schedule they have to have that opportunity to be ranked. And maybe that's just kind of a chip on the shoulder that you take with you wherever you go in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to figure. I think they were number 1 in receiving votes in the USA Today poll this week. I mean, you start comparing some of these resumes with teams that are in the top 25. And, obviously it doesn't have a whole lot to do with the price of eggs in China where you're ranked. It's who can you beat in the postseason when you get there. But it is one of those things that you just kind of wonder what folks are looking at. And to your point about the ASUN, I think there was a time, they've turned out some really good ball clubs. It just hadn't been the case the last couple of years.
Yeah, and I think kind of to your point, you think about it in some of the other sports as well. What do we say every year when basketball makes the tournament? Yeah, the seed is cool, but it's all about the matchup. And I think that weighs more than anything here when you get to the postseason like that. Whatever numbers next to your name, that's great, and it's cool to be able to say, but it's more important, like, who are you matched up against and what you do once you're there.
No doubt. Well, he is Matt Warner. I'm Nick Pierce. Matt, appreciate you coming on here this week, and we're looking forward to the baseball this weekend.
Get us a few wins, Nick.
Do my best. All right. We'll be right back with more of the Flames Clubhouse Report presented by Finks Jewelers. On the other side, we'll hear from the head coach of the Flames, Scott Jackson, next.
This broadcast of Liberty Flames Athletics is brought to you in part by Beacon Credit Union. Beacon Credit Union is a full-service financial institution offering a wide range of products and services. Having served Lynchburg and the surrounding area for over 75 years, our vision is to be the premier provider of quality financial services, a leader in our community, and the most progressive financial institution in our field. More information on Beacon Credit Union and all your banking needs is available online at mybcu.org. Equal housing lender, member NCUA.
Back to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report, presented by Finks Jewelers. This week's show continues with the thoughts of Liberty head baseball coach Scott Jackson, presented by Beacon Credit Union.
Clubhouse Report continues here this week as we are in Jacksonville, Florida. Flames just wrapped up day one of practice. Well, the only day of practice, but the practice round here as we're visiting now with the head coach of the Flames, Scott Jackson. And, you've had an opportunity to see the field and get down here to Florida and getting in a different atmosphere. What do you make of it here to this point?
It's great to be here. Certainly, this was a goal of ours, is to get down here and be in the Final Four. Just have a ton of respect for TP and UNF and, what they've done. I know they've got some really talented kids. So does JU and Kennesaw as well. It's going to be, it's going to be fun. This is what you play for, postseason baseball. So we're glad to be here and looking forward to getting going tomorrow.
How good do you feel about the way your team is playing right now and the sense of urgency coming into a championship week, even though that, it looks like you might be in good shape next week regardless? Yeah,
you try not to think about that. I think our kids are just so they're so easy and they get it. They understand what's at stake each and every day. Our thing's just been to keep our head down, man, and just keep playing and who's next and, what can we do in the moment to continue to try to get better and improve. And there's some great examples of that on our roster. These kids aren't going to change anything now. I think they know where we are and what they're capable of. And I think the big thing for us is to go out there and prove that on a daily basis starting tomorrow.
Head coach of the Flames, Scott Jackson, with us on the Clubhouse Report. You mentioned after the Bellarmine sweep that you wanted to, and you've said it more than once too, just try to enjoy these moments with the guys. And what's that been like since then and since that series and just the flight down here and breakfast at the hotel this morning, those little things? Yeah, I think, the big thing is to just try to avoid kind of the noise, if you will. What's being said, what's being written. We're certainly in a position to do some good things and get where we want to go. Our goals are still intact. So, you're just, it's hard to just step away when you're defined by, hey, you should win, or you're the number one seed, or all those things that really frankly don't matter. This time of year you can throw all that stuff out the door. So my sentiment with our guys is to just enjoy the moments, enjoy the practice time, enjoy the hotel time. One of the things that I've always been adamant about is that the season always ends so abruptly, and for the rest of our lives this exact group of kids may never be together again, and that's a hard pill to swallow. So when hopefully we've got a lot more baseball to play, but let's savor the moments and enjoy each other. And it's been such a wonderful ride with these guys. I know that's something that I'll look back on my coaching career no matter where the season ends. It's been an incredible group of kids that I've been just very honored to coach. Coach, you got Trevor DeLate going in game one here against a Jacksonville team that you haven't seen in person yet. Team that seems like it's starting to play its best baseball here, though. They haven't negative run differential for the season. They've struggled to score runs at times, but boy, they put them up in bunches against Florida Gulf Coast last week. What do you make of the Dolphins?
Yeah, no, I mean, you can throw all that out the door. I think, you look at the numbers and where they're at. They're finally healthy. That's a big thing. When Santana's on the mound, they're really, really good. So, for us, it's pitch number one and go from there and let our defense play. Obviously, that's a big strength of ours, is to be able to let those guys play behind us. And, it's cliche to say one pitch at a time, but that's exactly how we need to approach it. And, throw the records, throw the numbers, all that stuff out the door. They're playing really, really well right now, and that's the sign of a good coaching staff, is to get those kids to play well at the end of the year. And I respect Chris so much and what he's done, and it's going to be a challenge for us tomorrow.
After Trevor, how is the rest of your rotation looking here this weekend? And then also, with your pitching depth, is it something, obviously you want to get that first game, but do you feel good about, where you are regardless of what happens tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. We still got some things to look at. I mean, Trey's, trying to work through just a little soreness still. We would hope that it would have gone away by now. So, we've got some stuff we've got to look at. Again, I'm just concerned about, getting out here tomorrow and pitch number one and seeing how things shake out. Our starters have really given us some length, so it hadn't put too much pressure on our pen. But, if we're going to win this tournament, it's going to come down to some guys that, may have to be extended a little bit in a position where they haven't been all year. And we got to keep an eye on that. I've got Matt Williams in my dugout, so I'm not worried about anything. He'll make the right decisions, and he's done a great job just along the way. By the way, he welcomed his first son yesterday, so we're really excited about that, and just happy for him and Denton, and just an awesome day for them, and something that I can't wait to see him and hear all about it.
He wasn't on the flight, obviously had some more important things to tend to there, but no, very happy for them as well. And then lastly here, just kind of looking at your hitters coming into this thing after the performance this past Saturday, and now facing Tyler Santana, a guy that can strike you out. Yeah. Maybe the numbers aren't ERA-wise, hits-wise, aren't where he would expect them to be, but how does the matchup play going against the right-hander?
Yeah, I mean, I like our hitters, against anybody. I think he's very, very good. Certainly we've faced some good arms, all year long, and it's going to be a challenge for us just watching him on video. He can really do some things. I really like, his secondary stuff. I think it plays really, really well. It's just going to be, for us to get out of the gate well. You and I talk about that, to get off the field there in the top of the first inning and then come in and just start to put good at-bats together. I think that settles your team in always, and, that's usually been the formula for us that we like to kind of talk about, and fortunately for us, we've done that several times this year, so hopefully we can do that tomorrow.
And tomorrow is Thursday. Once again, we taped that conversation with Flames head coach Scott Jackson after Wednesday's practice at the University of North Florida. The Flames spent some time in some blistering heat Wednesday afternoon, but that's a good thing because they will be playing in that same heat at 11 a.m. Thursday morning against the Jacksonville Dolphins. First meeting between these two ball clubs since 2019 when the Flames eliminated the Dolphins from the 19 ASUN Championship tournament that year. Jacksonville took 2 of 3 from Liberty in the regular season series at JU, and those two teams split a pair of meetings in the conference tournament that year. Now, that was a long time ago, and really, I mean, you think about it now, that doesn't really mean a whole lot in terms of what's going to happen on Thursday. When you look at these two teams this year, Liberty has far and away been the best team in the ASUN. However, Jacksonville has started to come around a little bit here over the last month or so. They've gotten healthy, as Coach mentioned. Dakota Jalila missed a lot of time, their star shortstop, and they've gotten a little stronger up the middle. Their offensive production started to tick upwards. And Tyler Santana on Friday, look, he's good enough to beat you any night of the week. So Santana, I know, has given up a lot of hits this year, as we talked about. He's given up a lot of extra base hits as well, and it seems like they've come in bad times for him, and that's led to that higher earned run average. But look, if he gets on, and if his slider's working, he can be really, really tough, and that can be a good pitch for him against righties or lefties. So Tyler Santana, the right-hander, goes for Jacksonville. He'll be opposed, though, by a pretty good pitcher as well. The Flames, will, of course, will send ASUN Pitcher of the Year Trevor DeLate to the mound, who has not lost a ball game since late February at TCU. So you certainly take those odds. And, of course, winning the first game of a double elimination style tournament is so important, as Liberty will try to do just that against Jacksonville coming up here at 11 a.m. All games in this tournament can be seen on ESPN Plus if you've got the ESPN Plus package. And then also, of course, we will have all Liberty Flames games in this conference tournament streaming online at libertyflames.com. Live audio coverage there, beginning with pregame a half hour prior to first pitch. And, of course, we will also have those games on the radio as well. 90.9 FM WQLU in Lynchburg, Virginia. So that's it. It's tournament time. The Flames will start things against the Dolphins, and with a win, we'll play at 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon with a chance to punch the ticket to the championship game on Saturday. If the Flames should fall Thursday morning, they would turn around and play an elimination game at 11 a.m. on Friday, and would have to win that game plus one more game Friday night just to get to Saturday. And then once they get to Saturday, would have to win 2 games. So it's a lot easier. Let's just go ahead and win this first game. Not even think about the loser's bracket. Let's not think about having to win 2 doubleheaders in 2 days, sweep 2 doubleheaders in 2 days. Let's just 3 wins. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and let's get out of here with a trophy. Sound good? I thought so. All right, once again, I want to thank our guests, Matt Warner from the Liberty Flames Sports Network, for joining us from Flames Central, and also the head coach of the Flames, Scott Jackson, for giving us some time as well. For all of us at the network, my name is Nick Pierce. Enjoy the baseball this weekend. I know I will. Until next time, so long, everybody.
You've been listening to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report, presented by Finks Jewelers. For more on Flames baseball, check out libertyflames.com. You can also follow the team on Twitter and Instagram at Liberty Baseball and on Facebook at Liberty Flames Baseball. The Flames Clubhouse Report is an exclusive presentation from Van Wagner on the Liberty Flames Sports Network.